Hello and welcome to Remember This. I am Andy HG, and we come to my favorite game in the Sonic franchise, Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Ah! It was originally supposed to be one full game, but due to meeting deadlines it ended up being split into two different cartridges, Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles. And because it was supposed to be one full game, I'm going to look at it as such. Though you can enjoy both games separately just fine, but you really can only get the full experience by having both games combined. The only difference rely on a boss fight or two, and some of the soundtrack is exclusive to Sonic 3. As for the plot of Sonic 3 and Knuckles, that's something I really didn't talk about with the last two games, but to be fair, there really wasn't much to say. I mean, they all follow the same principle. Animals are in trouble, Robotnik is bad, Sonic goes in to stop that. But here, there's a bit more meat to it, and I'll try to paraphrase it as best as I can. Sonic 3 and Knuckles takes place after Sonic 2 with the Death Egg landing on Angel Island after losing its orbit, despite the fact that it looked like it blew up at the end of that game. But I digress. Robotnik travels to the floating island and stumbles across the guardian of the island himself, Knuckles the Echidna, in order for him to find the Chaos Emeralds and get the Death Egg resurfaced. Robotnik tricks the guardian into thinking he's a good guy, while the likes of Sonic and Tails are the bad guys. And funny enough, Sonic and Tails soon come to Angel Island where Knuckles stops them along the way. In fact, throughout the entire game as Sonic and Tails progress, Knuckles tries to impede their progress, which usually works. However, once you arrive to the Hidden Palace, you confront Knuckles and knock some sense into him. Or rather, Robotnik shocks some sense into him as he steals the Master Emerald. Sonic goes after the resurrected Death Egg to stop Robotnik, and after that, the Master Emerald returns to the island where it floats once more, while Knuckles gets his perfect day ruined by a lone egg robo, who gets killed by Mecha Sonic, and then Knuckles defeats Mecha Sonic, who can turn super now, and saves the day. The game's a little bit more story-driven than the last two, you could say. While there isn't any dialogue, the story is definitely fleshed out pretty well throughout the game. As a matter of fact, unlike the last two games, the zones and the acts segue into each other, building upon the journey. Though it goes without saying, Sonic controls exactly like he did last time. Though he has the insta-shield, which honestly, during my gameplay, I forgot he even had it. Tails is back, and for the first time, if you don't count Sonic Chaos, Tails can fly on control. And he can swim as well, which Sonic can't do for some reason. In this game, we have a newcomer, Knuckles the Echidna, or Katie. I don't know why, but as a kid, every time I looked down there, I thought that's how his name was said. Don't ask. He can't jump as high or run as fast as Sonic, but he's able to climb walls and glide. He can also explore areas that Sonic and Tails can't access, leading to some new pathways. Come to think about it, that's one big difference between the last two games, is that the zones encourage exploration, which is very handy for finding some hidden monitors and some special stages, but more about that later. As for a rundown of the stages, we have Angel Island. It's definitely a bit more refreshing compared to Emerald Hill and Green Hill due to its depth for exploration, and the fact that it gets lit on fire halfway. Just like the Box Art! Hydrosity. Imagine if the Labyrinth Zone was fun. There's less time in the water like the Aquatic Ruin, and there's plenty of high-speed action. Also, I never feel in danger of drowning due to the abundance of bubbles in the water shield. Oh, that's right, this game introduces the elemental shields. The water one lets you bounce and breathe indefinitely underwater, the fire shield makes you invincible to fire hazards, and it turns you into a Hadouken. The electric shield, which makes a comeback in later games, not only gives you another jump, but it gathers all the rings to you. They're all awesome, and I'm glad they came back to Sonic Mania, but I'm getting off track. Let's get back to the stages. Marble Garden Zone. While I like a lot to say about the stage itself, I really enjoyed the soundtrack. In fact, I love this soundtrack. I mean, it might be my favorite in this series. Carnival Night Zone. It's home to the infamous Time Up area, which admittedly I fell victim to a lot as a child. The Ice Cap Zone is probably the best ice stage I enjoy in video gaming. There's no ice physics, and you get a snowboard starting out, and once again, awesome soundtrack piece. Launch Base Zone. If you're playing Sonic 3 solo, this would be the last stage, and it sure feels like it. Mushroom Hill Zone. See what I said about Angel Island, but there's no fire this time, though there's plenty of shrooms and foliage. Flying Battery. Imagine if the Wing Fortress and Metropolis zones combine, and they were good. And did I mention that soundtrack? Cyanopolis is probably my least favorite level in this entire game, mostly due to the second half being extremely tedious. It is even worse when you're playing as Knuckles. And on top of that, Ghosts! Lava Reef Zone. Get the fire shield. Get the fire shield. And did I mention, get the fire shield! Hidden Palace is the shortest stage ever if you're playing as Knuckles. Otherwise, here you face off against Knuckles, and let's be honest, this is the most challenge you're ever going to get out of a fight with Knuckles. Oh no. Sky Sanctuary Zone. I love the atmosphere of this stage. It's the final stage for Knuckles, and if you're playing as Sonic, you face off against Mecha Sonic 3 times, representing bosses from Sonic 1 and 2. The Death Egg Zone is definitely a far cry from Sonic 2, as now there's rings, and it's a full stage. And let me tell you, if you love anti-gravity levels, you'll be in love with this one. Then there's the Doomsday Zone, the ultimate final boss stage. If you collected all the Chaos Emeralds as Sonic, you're chasing the Egg Robot through space, trying to get the Master Emerald back. It's so amazing yet so nerve-wracking, and the music definitely doesn't help. Sonic 3 introduces bonus stages, which give you the opportunity to gain extra lives, elemental shields, and more rings, and they're really fun to play through. And it also introduces the best special stage layout by far. Collect the blue spheres, which words cannot describe it. It's just so fun! Even when you get close to collecting them all and the stage speeds up, it's still amazing! Not only can you collect the 7 Chaos Emeralds as usual, but this game introduces for the first and as far as I know only time, the Super Emeralds, which you can collect after finding all 7 Chaos Emeralds. Now the special stages for the Super Emeralds are slightly trickier this time around, but after getting them you get God mode with all the characters, in the form of Hyper Sonic, who with the power of seizures can nuke badniks on screen, Hyper Knuckles who have after images, and unlike his regular form he can glide and climb walls much quicker, and when he collides with a wall, it wipes out all enemies on screen. And Super Tails, yeah, for some reason he can't get a super form without the Super Emeralds. But he's outright broken. I mean, you're already invincible enough, but these flickies come down and target any enemy or boss. Well, most of them. So really you don't have to do anything. He kind of reminds me of Maria from Rondo Blood a bit. So for old Sonic 3 and Knuckles, well, what more do I have to say? I love this game! Sonic 2 did a fantastic job by being superior over the first game, but Sonic 3 and Knuckles, I think, perfected the Genesis titles. And that's no slight against Sonic 2, I just personally find Sonic 3 and Knuckles to be the superior game. In fact, it's the Sonic game I find myself going back to the most. The best way I can describe it is like getting everything you wanted for Christmas, but then you find a closet and get a surprise of even more gifts. Now before we end this video, I want to talk about the lock-on technology, which is how you get the full Sonic 3 experience. If you put in a Genesis game that's not Sonic 2 or 3, you get the Blue Spear game, which gives you thousands of options to play the Blue Spear stages. Though in hindsight, I kind of find it sad we never got an official Knuckles and Sonic 1 game. And if you put Sonic 2 in, well, you get Knuckles and Sonic 2, which makes the game slightly harder due to Knuckles' limited jumping, though due to Knuckles' abilities, there's extra monitors you can find. And fun fact, when it comes to the special stages, it's much more forgiving this time around. The ring quota for getting the emeralds are heavily reduced. I mean, after all, it is just Knuckles. And when you die or complete a special stage, your ring count will remain the same as when you touch the lamppost, which makes it much easier to collect all the Chaos Emeralds. And when you do, you get Super Knuckles, which is actually a nice touch. So that ends the Sonic Marathon. Now I didn't touch games such as Sonic 3D Blast or Sonic Spinball because I wanted to go over what Sonic is best known for. However, when next we meet, we're going to take a look at Sonic Mania. Until then, I'm ADHG, and catch Oh, that's right, there's the add-on titles.